And we begin this hour in the Western Cape because the Public Service and Administration Minister, that's Inkosi Mzamo Buthelezi, has told the inaugural G20 Anti-Corruption Working Group meeting in Cape Town that corruption is a result of poor governance and a lack of ethical leadership. South Africa's presiding over the inaugural meeting in Cape Town this week. Watching developments for us is SABC News reporter Abra Barbier, who joins us now live from Cape Town. And Abra, this is an important gathering given just how pervasive corruption is, not only in South Africa, but certainly for many of the countries represented at that meeting. No surprises then that part of what the minister had to say is that there's going to have to be a collaborative approach to this problem.
Ayanda, good morning. Yes, strong words, strong commitments coming from the minister in his keynote address this morning, and also just making sure to remind everybody it's not just a South African problem, it's an international problem. And corruption, he spoke about how it damages public trust in government and just basically how it damages integrity in government. And to speak to me about it now is the minister himself. I'll ask him to elaborate. Minister Buthelezi, thank you so much. You spoke about, I think public trust in South Africa specifically when it comes to corruption, this is a huge concern to South Africans. You made commitments inside, but we hear about corruption every single day. What exactly is government striving to do to clamp down on the scourge?
I think what is very important for us as government, as I've alluded when I was doing the address, is that not necessarily that you are very much preoccupied by putting systems in place of accountability. But what needs to happen is that we bring in, or government institutions should be able to attract leadership that has qualities of being leaders who have absolute integrity. The sense of that ethical leadership is what has caused us so much and what has left us to be at this place, because it doesn't matter how much systems you put in place, but if people in question, leadership does not have those ethical values, then we cannot win the battle. And we all know that corruption is not only stealing from the poor, but it also undermines our very gains in as far as our democracies are concerned.
Yeah, you spoke about reinvestment in terms of asset recovery. Speak more about what challenge that has been in the country.
You know, we as South Africa presidencies had 4 priorities. One of them is to improve on asset recovery. All these illegally gained assets, we are able to recover them and invest those money back into our economy. There's been some challenges, as I said, that countries have their own what we call legislative frameworks, but this working group, which is anti-corruption, has to come up with policies and to come up with some ways as to how we can improve on recovering all those assets, even if there are no treaties between those 2 countries. That's what this summit should come up with, so that it's improved on our endeavor to collect those monies back and make sure that those that are found to be wrong are held to account, not only recovering those assets back, but also to make sure that people who are responsible also pay the price.
Minister, I know many South Africans are frustrated with the interface at government offices. Public servants don't necessarily fulfill their roles in a professional manner, if I can say that. We regularly see video clips on social media where South Africans are filming. There was just one recently now where a security guard was pepper spraying people at a Home Affairs office. Your counterpart in Home Affairs said he is addressing that. Inside, you spoke about professionalization of the public service. You're also speaking about leadership. But obviously this is a message that needs to filter down to the local traffic department, to the local Home Affairs office. Yes,
that is why I spoke of a collaborative approach where everybody is involved. As government, we are actually making sure that the issue of professionalization in the public service is prioritized. This is what one is championing as a Department of Public Service and Administration. But when you speak about professionalization, you're not only talking about accolades, how much educated you are, but those values that actually that constitute professionalism, which is ethical behavior, commitment, conscientiousness and all those issues, public servants should be actually orientated to those, because a lot has happened in the public space. It's not necessarily about them. We should not view public servants from that negative point of view. But as a department, we are trying to find out as to what are these underlying factors. Some people come to work stressed because of a number of issues. The health of a public servant as a whole is very important. Hence, we are having a multi-approach in as far as trying to solve this problem. But the issue of public servants to actually relax on their duty and to treat people they serve with such disdain is something that we cannot actually tolerate. That's why issues of accountability is important. Whoever is found to be on the wrong, consequence management must be ensured. And also the issue of leadership in public service, because if you've got a manager in a public space, that manager must be able to inculcate this culture of a servant leadership and also a deep sense of duty. So it's a lot that the public servants or the public space should try to actually bring on board in terms of trying to solve our problems.
Minister, one of the sessions that I'm very interested in, because I cover the Justice Committee in Parliament, one of the sessions I'm very interested in is the session on whistleblowing, because that is another area that South Africa, and I think it is also one of the top priorities, people are scared to come forward. We understand why. What is government's plan as far as protecting whistleblowers is concerned?
In fact, as government, we do have systems in place. Our shortfall is how much do we implement our own and ensuring that we live from A to Z in terms of implementation. As I also said that if we do not pay attention to whistleblower protection, all our endeavor will be meaningless, because people now don't come up because of the fear of retaliation from these thugs. But if we make sure that we protect them, that will encourage a culture of where accountability is now flourishing. People can come forth without fear of anything, because their government is making every effort to make sure that they are actually protected. But one of the areas is that if our law enforcement agencies now takes longer actually to finalize some cases and people are able to get bails which they are entitled to, that is also a problem, because it gives them too much time to interfere with evidence and also to deal with the whistleblowers.
Minister, thank you so much for your time. We will be here for the next 3 days, so I will catch up with you at some point. Thank you very much. That was Minister of Public Administration, Minister Buthelezi, who did the keynote address at the inaugural session this morning. And of course, we will be here over the next 3 days. We will be keeping an eye on what will be coming out of these various sessions, where the focus will be on anti-corruption measures and endeavors taken by the member states of the G20. Ayanda?
Abra Barbier is live to us there from Cape Town in the Western Cape for now. Abra, thanks very much indeed.